Hello, what's up? Welcome to the Backlist Readathon, daily vlog number 1. Even though I'm way over my head in everything else in my life, I promised you guys daily vlogs, and I'm gonna deliver because I haven't daily vlogged since Romanceathon, and that was a long time ago. And I know that you guys really like the daily vlogs. So a couple different things, a couple different updates, because I haven't talked to you guys, I don't think in a while, but I found out I have something called SIBO, which is a small intestinal bacteria overgrowth. And that's one of the reasons why I have been gaining weight for no reason, why my stomach is always so bloated. It always looks like I'm pregnant, but I'm not. And so I finally figured out how to get this taken care of with a doctor, and I am now taking antibiotics for the next 2 weeks. So today's day 2 of taking antibiotics, which is why it's 10:30 in the morning and I have to eat something. I normally don't eat breakfast. This was leftover from yesterday, and then I have 2 pieces of gluten-free toast. Number 1, I have to be gluten-free and pretty much paleo from now on, and I need to eat this stuff in order to take my 2 antibiotics, because yesterday I did not eat when I took my antibiotics and I was so sick at work the whole morning. It was a really bad day for me. So I did make my coffee. I've been loving this, it's the Silk brand, but it's almond and cashew, but with protein. So it's 10 grams of protein it says on it, but it's pea protein. I really like it as a dairy-free milk for my coffee and cooking. Okay, I'm going to eat my food really quick, and then I'm gonna tell you guys about my books for the Backlist Readathon and what I'm going to start reading right now. I think the one that I'm most excited to read, and that's because somebody on my last video, on my TBR video, commented and said there's a TV adaptation for it on Amazon Prime. I really want to read Modern Love so badly. Now, this is the only book of my stack that I don't have an audiobook for, and because it's a lot smaller and it's kind of an anthology of love stories and stuff, I'm going to read a little bit of this each day. I do close tonight and tomorrow, and then I'm off Tuesday, and then I close Wednesday, Thursday, and then I'm off Friday. Yeah. So I think that I'll be able to read a little bit of this each day, maybe finish it on one of my days off, but I cannot wait because I want to watch the Amazon Prime adaptation for it too. The next book that I'm super excited, I think this one's the one that I'm gonna start today, is Replay by Ken Grimwood. My friend Jenny actually had told me about this book because of me loving time travel, alternate realities and stuff, and so I'm really excited to read this. This is a guy who dies and then comes to life again back at the age of 18 so he can relive his life, but knowing all the mistakes he made. Really excited, and this is the one I'm gonna start on audiobook today, as soon as I'm done filming this. And then The Only Good Indians is the book that I'm reading for the Own Voices prompt. I forgot to say, the Replay is for the 2017 prompt. Modern Love is for the book influencer prompt, because I know I've seen Gabby really like this. This is the Own Voices. This is the one I would say that I am least likely to like. I just feel this is not gonna be a book for me, just because of the fact that it feels very historical fiction. I'm not sure about the writing style, but I'm hoping that it's not hard to get into. This is a horror novel, so we'll see. But I have the audiobook for that too, so maybe I can fly through these. And then I have Alice Feeney's His and Hers. This is for my favorite genre prompt because I love thrillers. I also really love Alice Feeney. This is her 3rd book, and I've read her 2 other books. I also have this on audiobook, which I've heard is really great to listen to, so I can't wait to listen to that. And then I have the middle grade one, Out of My Mind. I have that on audiobook through Libby. I think I got all these audiobooks through Libby, which is great. We love supporting the library. But yeah, Out of My Mind is the middle grade prompt, and I think it's about this girl who has cerebral palsy. Gosh, I always cannot say that word. And so she can't talk or speak, I think, but she's a genius, and it's going through her life and how people just assume that since you can't do certain things that you're not smart, but she actually is really smart. So really excited to read those. I'm definitely gonna start with Replay right now, and I will update you guys in a little bit, but definitely let me know down in the comment what you guys are reading currently. Every day when I put this video out, let me know what you're currently reading, if you're liking it, because that way I can follow along on your reading journey too. And don't forget, you can always tag me like on Instagram and, you know, hashtag the Backlist Readathon. I've been checking it so that way I can comment on you guys' posts and stuff. This says, what if you could live your life over again and again and again? So excited. So let's go ahead and start reading this. Okay, let's talk about this book so far. So I am 62 pages in, and before I even got to like the part that I'm at, I don't know, this book has like Stephen King vibes to it, in my opinion, like the way that it's written, but also it reminds me a lot of 11/22/63. And I know that I didn't like finish that book. I DNF'd it like, I don't know, halfway maybe. But I also watched part of the show too. And just the whole, I don't know exactly what it is. Like, I think it's the time period, number one, but then also just the fact that this guy, Jeff, like he dies and goes back in time to when he was in college. So that's like the 1960s. And because he like knows the future, he can bet on things. Like he's been betting on horse races and sports and just all that type of stuff. And so he's like making a lot of money because his bets are coming out true, obviously, because he knows the future. And now I got to the part where it's 1963 and John F. Kennedy is gonna be shot in like 3 weeks. And he's like, should I change this outcome? Because he hasn't really changed many outcomes. So like the world actually is like the same. It's like going on the same timeline. But if he changes like John F. Kennedy not getting shot, then how much will that alter the future, you know? But like it's like a smaller version of 11/22/63, it almost seems, because that's what that whole book is about, even though I never got to the end. But it's obviously like going where he can stop the assassination of JFK, and that's what he's doing now. But in this book, he didn't want to be like labeled as a conspirator, so he goes and writes a letter as Lee Harvey Oswald, and like writes it to the president and is like, I'm gonna come to Dallas and I'll kill you, I'll shoot you, and there's not an idle threat. And so then like Oswald actually gets arrested by the Secret Service for threatening the life of the president. So that's where I am right now, but I don't know what the future is gonna be like. Like, is it gonna be the same? Is it gonna be different? So yeah, if you liked 11/22/63, then you would probably definitely like this book. Okay, so I'm 100 pages into the book now, and I'm liking it. I'm not loving it. I think it's just the way that it's written. It's just, I don't know. It's not something that I think I'm going to like absolutely love, but Jeff ended up like not being able to change any of the future. And then once he like had lived his life up until the point that he died the first time, he died again and went back again to college. So he's already on his like second replay, and he decides to like do life differently, because the first time he did his replay, he like gambled a bunch, he made a bunch of money, he like didn't marry his wife from like obviously his first life, but married other people, and he ended up like having a kid. And so then when he died again, like his kid was a teenager, I think. And so now he's kind of depressed because replaying the second time, like he's the only one that knows anything about his daughter. Like she's gone, that was his memory of her. So now he's like doing life a different way. He's not gonna like gamble and make a bunch of money. He decided to like finish college, marry a different girl, but he got a vasectomy because he was like, there's no way that I wanna go through life again, like bringing a child into the world in order to like lose that child and for me to only have the memory of that child. So that's a very interesting thing to think about. But unfortunately, like his current wife wants a child, and he like didn't tell her that he got a vasectomy, or like, I mean, he can't really, but she brought up adoption. And so I think they're gonna go the adoption route, because he was like, okay, well, you know, even if he would like love the child that he adopts, it's not like technically someone he brought into life, like from the second replay. Like he didn't obviously like create this child, I guess. So his like, he's thinking about it in a different way, but I'm curious to see like how that affects him if they do adopt. Like, I have a feeling that he probably will like really love this child and fall in love with this child, and that it'll still hurt when he replays again. I don't know how many times he's gonna replay, but like, it is kind of crazy. It almost like exhausts me because you went through like most of your life again, and then you have to start back at the beginning, even if you were happy with your life. So yeah, like thinking about that for myself, it's like, sure, you can change some of the mistakes that you made, but then at the same time, it's like, you would have to go through some of that stuff all over again. Like, you have to go through the hardships and the great things. And it's just kind of like exhausting to think about. Okay, I need to head to work. It's almost 3 o'clock, which is when I have to work, obviously. But I got 50% of the way through my book, like the replay book. So it's good that I did make it 50% of the way through, because that's actually more than I thought I would make it. But I also brought the Modern Love book, because I figured on my break, maybe I could read one of the first like stories for that. I'm not sure how long they are, but at least maybe I could read one of them, which would be great. But I don't know if I'll be able to listen more to replay, because I don't know like what side I'm going to be on at work tonight. And if I get to wash the dishes, then I can listen to the audiobook. But if I don't, then I pretty much have to deal with customers all day long, which I mean is fine. It's okay. I'm not like incredibly loving replay. It feels kind of like a 3 to 3.5 star right now, like being halfway through. It just really, it really feels like a Stephen King book. Like, if I didn't know that this was written by somebody else, I would totally have thought this was a Stephen King book. So, I don't know, I'm not a huge fan of Stephen King. It's kind of like the writing style. I feel like he just goes into way too much description when he doesn't need to. You know, I want there to be more of a plot. There's other things that kind of happen, but I don't want to tell you because it's like the only really exciting things that are happening in the book. But something else did happen, and so I'm not exactly sure where the story's gonna go, but I'm just not incredibly invested in it. Like, I thought that the concept was really great, and there was one quote that I wrote down, just because the characters are very sad about, you know, like having a family or falling in love with people, and then all that gets taken away from you when you like go and replay your life again. But I don't know, it's just like not hitting me where I thought it was gonna hit me. Maybe I've been reading too many time travel books, because I just read like The Midnight Library, which is kind of the same concept. I'm sorry you guys are rocking, but this is like the only time for me to update you before I clock into work, so. But I hope that the first day is going well for you guys, and I hope you guys are all enjoying your reads.
Everywhere you look, everywhere there's a heart, there's a heart. I hear the hold on to. Everywhere you look, everywhere there's a love of somebody. So I finished my break, and I'm putting my
book back, but I read up to like 28 pages in Modern Love, and the last one that I read, it's called At the Hospital, an Interlude of Clarity. Well, I looked it up on Amazon Prime, and there is 8 episodes, and so it's 8 of the stories, and the one that I just read, the At the Hospital one, is available on Amazon Prime. Like, so they are named after the actual like chapters. So these ones I didn't get to yet, they're like later on in the book. But I think tonight, because this is only 32 minutes, I think when I get home tonight, I'm gonna watch this so I can like update you guys on like my thoughts of that story and watching this at the same time. Well, I already read this, but watching it, you know what I mean. It's like really short, like essays, and so far it's like pretty good. It's a little bit more artistic than what I normally read. Like, this would definitely be good for people that like, I think, love poetry a lot. I don't know, but I'm really excited to like watch the show and see if I get more out of it. Good morning. So I did not get to update you guys last night because I was just like not in the best mood. I just wasn't feeling it because I've just been dealing with a lot of like, there's a lot of different stuff in my life actually right now. There was some stuff at work like last week, or yeah, I guess it was like a week and a half ago, that like really was weighing on like my mental health. And then with all of this like SIBO stuff, I'm actually like not feeling super great this morning, like with the antibiotics. So I don't know if it's like the die off or what exactly it is, but like my stomach is like not the best right now. And then this week I also got news that 2 more of my sisters are pregnant. So I have been trying to get pregnant for 6 years. I did get pregnant a couple years ago and miscarried. So like, it's crazy to think that just this past Valentine's Day, like I could have had a 3-year-old, but it's just like really hard when it's like people close to me. So my younger sister is pregnant and she's having her baby in April, and so I'm gonna go help out with that, and like that's gonna be hard for me. And then my like brother's wife, she was also having some struggles, and so I was able to like be able to talk to her about like how frustrating it is. Like I finally kind of had someone that was like going through what I was going through, but she just told me that she's pregnant, and then my older sister told me she's having her 4th. Like she just found out that she's pregnant. So literally in one single week, and that's not even including like other people I know. Like there was other pregnancy announcements on Facebook. And so it's like everybody just gets pregnant all at one time, and it just hits me like all at one time. And it's just like, it's like so unfair, and there's just like nothing I can do about it. Like all I want to do is like scream at the top of my lungs, but like that won't fix it. But I mean, I do have an upcoming fertility appointment on March 16th, so I'm just trying to like look forward to that. But it's just like, it's just frustrating because like I know that other people don't know what it's like to go through this. Not everybody does. And so for the people that like don't know what it's like their advice just kind of like, I don't want to say it means nothing to me, but it's just like they'll just say random things as in like, oh well, this is probably your year, or you know, just keep chugging along, you know, just like stuff like that. And it's like, all I really want people to do is be like, wow, yeah, that like really sucks. Like that's all they can really say. But I almost don't like the people that are trying to throw hope at me, because it's like, listen, I've been throwing hope at myself for 6 years now, and throwing hope at me doesn't like, it doesn't do anything. Like, sure, could be my year. I thought last year was my year. I thought 3 years ago when I was pregnant was my year. They weren't my years. So I don't know. It's just irritating. But I did watch, like when I got home last night, I ended up watching one of the episodes for this. Gosh, my eyes are like itchy. I am just not doing great today. But the one story in here, it was called like The Hospital or something like that. Yeah, At the Hospital, an Interlude of Clarity. I watched that one on Amazon Prime, and it was, let's see, out of like 5 stars, I would give it like 3. It was a little longer than it needed to be because it was like 32 minutes. And I mean, guys, like the story in here is literally probably like 3 pages long. Okay, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like 6 pages long. 2 of those pages are half pages. So having the show be like 32 minutes, I kind of like skipped a bunch of the end, not the end, but like the middle-ish end, because it was just like too slow and they were just like talking about like nothing. But essentially that story is about this guy who is like on his second date with this girl, and he like breaks a martini glass at home and like literally cuts himself like super bad on his arm. So bad that they have to call 911, and he has to like go into surgery because he like hit a major artery. And she like stays with him throughout this whole process, and so he like keeps thinking in his head, he's like, okay, she's the one, like she's seen me at my worst, she stayed with me that whole time when she didn't have to. But at the end of the story in the book, not in the TV show, it didn't even do anything in the TV show, they just were still together, but in the book it says that she left him in like a month or whatever for an old ex-boyfriend. So it turned out that that wasn't his love of his life, and I think he even then got married and had kids or something, because usually it says at the bottom, the excerpt, like, you know, now living with wife and 2 kids or whatever. So yeah, like it was fine. I am interested though to read more of this book and watch more of those, and to see, I mean, it was kind of nice to be put into visuals, you know, because these stories are so short. But at the same time, there's like added stuff that I thought was unnecessary. Like, I feel like it'd be better. I mean, I don't know. Would people get mad if it was like 15-minute clips? Probably. Yeah, they'd probably get mad. But I feel like 32 minutes was way too long. But that's it. Okay, I'm going to edit this vlog for you guys because it is almost hitting 10 a.m. and I need to get this up, and I need to go to work, and I need to get a COVID test today. And so I need to start like editing this and start filming for today, or there's gonna be no reading content for day 2. Ooh, but then I'm off tomorrow, so that's cool. Like, yeah. Oh, I'll also see you guys at noon, because noon is when I'm having my reading sprint. So yeah, see you at noon.